Good morning from Via San Vitale, from this beautiful balcony of this apartment I've been renting for the last month here in Bologna. I've had some great adventures. I've been in Italy for 2 months. I learned how to the right way to cook a dish I've been cooking for several years. I went all the way to the very south of Italy to the region of Puglia. I went all the way to Bari to see how the dish spaghetti alla Sassina is actually prepared in the city in which it was born. And I had a nice chat with a chef there. I wish I had gotten him on video. It was kind of a serendipitous thing and I wasn't set up for it, but I had an opportunity to learn how to cook something wonderful. I spent some time in Le Marche and in the city of Ancona, and also in the city of Recanati, where I met some lovely people who make beautiful concertinas. It was wonderful. And I've spent the last month, all of October, well, pretty much all of October here in Bologna. I made a couple trips to Firenze to visit friends there, and actually to spend some time with some friends from home who were passing through, and also to Modena. I went to Modena. I ended up being there for a chocolate festival. Who knew? I didn't know I was going to be there for that. That's one of the beauties of Italy, is just, you know, randomly finding really cool events that are happening. But I wanted to say a little bit about what's changed in Italy. This is my 5th trip to Italy. All of them have been long trips, over 2 months, most of them, and I've started 5 years ago, before COVID was a thing, and then 2 years ago I was here when COVID first appeared, and it was a pretty scary time. It started out this kind of this rumor about some kind of a weird disease that had come from China, and by the time it got into the news, and people started getting a little freaked out about it, it was in Italy, and it was in Milan, in Lombardy, where I had to travel through to go home, and I ended up leaving a little early and going through Milan and being a little bit freaked out about the whole process. I was back here last year, and it was a fantastic year last year, and then this year. All the COVID restrictions seem to be gone. When I first got here, you still had to wear masks on public transportation, so on trains and buses, that requirement no longer exists, although I still, when I get on a train, I wear a mask, and tomorrow when I get on the airplane, I will be masked up, I guarantee you, especially in the airports where you're around so many people. But there have been some changes here, and I just wanted to say a few things about the changes I've noted. One of the changes, and this is kind of a fun one, is that I think because of COVID, the use of the legal form of cannabis here in Italy, which is kind of a very low THC version, they call it cannabis light here, has really boomed, and now there are vending machines all around the city that you can go, and if you have the right kind of card, which I don't, of course, but if you have the right kind of identification card, residency card, or health card, I guess, you can put it in the machine and put some euros in the machine and get a little package of cannabis light. Housing is crazy in Italy right now. There are so many homeless people that I see in the city, and that's new. There have always been a few people that have been around. There have always been beggars, but this year I've passed a lot of people that were sleeping on the streets. A lot of people, just I don't know, a block that way, just past the Torre Sotto, there is the parish church for this neighborhood, Via San Vitale, and there's almost always some people sleeping out in front of the church. For a while, it was a young woman who was hanging out there begging during the day and sleeping at night. Now there's an older couple that are sleeping there, and they actually have managed to find a mattress somewhere. So there's a mattress on the sidewalk outside the church, and at night when you pass by, they're bundled up, and it's cold here right now, and it's getting colder. So I worry about those people, but But yeah, homelessness is a big thing. The housing stock is down here, just like everywhere. You know, people are buying up available housing here, buying up the apartments in these palazios here in the city, and they're you know, jacking up the rents. You know, it's just insane, like it is in all the big cities, you know, around the world. Now, Italy is a pretty affordable place in many ways, and if you go to smaller places, you can find affordable housing. You can find housing that's almost for free. You can get a house for €1 in some cities, and as long as you're willing to spend some money fixing it up. So yeah, housing has changed quite a bit. The bar scene has changed. It used to be, you know, bars are really important in Italy. There's lots and lots of bars here. The bar I go to for coffee in the morning, which is that way, about 2 blocks. It's right next to another bar, and usually there's at least one bar in every block, and sometimes 2 or 3. And both of those bars are busy in the morning. I go to the one that I go to because they have, I think, a little bit better pastries. What's changed is that bars in the afternoons and the evenings, well, around 5 o'clock, 5 to 7, here in Bologna, there used to be this tradition prior to COVID where bars would, you know, if you were to go into a bar and buy a glass of wine or a spritz or, you know, something like that, a glass of Prosecco, you would be given the opportunity to go to a little, you know, mini buffet of some kind. Well, some were small, some were larger, and a lot of different kinds of things. There'd be little fried things, there'd be salads, some kind of a pasta dish, some kind of a rice dish, maybe some fruit, lots of different things, and you could you know, go ahead and fill up a plate. And you know, if you were a light eater, you could go ahead and make that your supper, because here in Italy people don't eat supper till 7, 8, or 9 o'clock at night. That's when the restaurants, they don't even open till 7 o'clock for dinner. So yeah, it was a great thing. You know, it would cost maybe a couple of euros extra for the drink if they during aperitivo in most places. Today, that's totally gone. I guess it stopped during COVID, during lockdown, because, you know, people couldn't go inside bars. You could go to the window and order a drink to go when you were out shopping for your groceries, but you couldn't go inside the bars, and so they really couldn't serve aperitivos, and the tradition went away. It used to be I probably knew 30 or 40 bars in town where you could go and have a nice little meal in the evening that way for just a couple of euros over the cost of a drink. Now that opportunity doesn't exist at all. So I'm sorry that tradition left, but I can understand, you know, as a bar owner, you know, all of a sudden you realize you could survive without having to do all that extra work and make the food and, you know, wash the dishes and all that sort of stuff. So I understand. Well, many things haven't changed. Italy's still a beautiful country. It's still amazing people. The markets are amazing. The food is amazing. The art is amazing. The culture is fantastic. I've been to some really interesting cultural events during this trip. When I was in Bari, there was some kind of a street parade going on, and I heard the sound of bagpipes, and I thought, oh, those must be those Italian bagpipes from you know, from the south of Italy. I'm really looking forward to, you know, seeing them and seeing how they're played. It turned out to be a Highland bagpiper in full regalia with a kilt on and with one of those big funny furry hats and all that stuff. And she was playing up the storm. So yeah, interesting things. Also on this trip, I learned a lot about the history of fascism here in Italy. Here in Bologna, over 2,000 Partigiano died as a result of their efforts to stop fascism here in this part of the country. And I was able to attend a couple of different memorials earlier this month to the victims of fascism here. It's something that people take, you know, they take seriously. They remember, and And so now with the new government, you know, being kind of on the right wing of the spectrum, some of the old memes, like the songs. There's a beautiful song called Bella Ciao. That's a song about the resistance, about the partisans, and you hear it frequently these days in the city by street musicians and you know, at demonstrations and things like that. And it's a song that every Italian knows. Well, I guess I better, you know, stop rambling on. I've got work to do. I got to pack this camera up. I've got to finish packing my suitcase. You know, make a reservation for a taxi in the morning, I hope, if I can. And because I like to take a taxi when I leave, especially this time because my suitcase is overflowing with stuff that I'm bringing home. But anyway, I hope if you have a chance to get to this beautiful country, you do. I hope that you have a chance to see Italy, to experience the wonderful people of this country. And you know, every region of Italy is different. I've only hit a few of them. You know, I've been in Tuscany and Lombardy and Emilia-Romagna and Puglia and Marche, but there's a lot more places to go, and I hope I have a chance to come back and see more of them. Well, that's it. I think it's time to go get back to work. Thank you for tuning in to these ramblings, and especially to the walks I've taken around Bologna with my little phone camera, and I hope you've enjoyed those too. In other parts of Italy that I've been in. And you know, I look forward to more videos in the future and more adventures from more places. Ciao for now.